In this video, we're going to show you the Boardwalk low-code application platform and how it can be used for multi-party track and trace applications. Let me just start by a quick introduction of the Boardwalk Excel Cloud. As I said, it's a low-code application platform for automating and managing specifically Excel-based enterprise application. What's very important about it is that it's able to mirror existing data models. So literally any information that's being used inside of an Excel workbook can be brought to the cloud as is without having to go through any data modeling effort. Once you've done this, then you can enable multi-user concurrent collaboration from inside the familiar desktop Excel, which is very important because people are very comfortable using Excel, but it's not a database. And this solves that problem. As people make changes, all of the changes are fully consolidated automatically, and there's a full immutable provenance of all the changes, which you'll see during the demo. And all of this, the Boardwalk Excel Cloud, is built on some patented digital ledger technology, which is flexible, scalable, and secure granular cell-level data management running in the cloud. And this is important because beyond what we're showing today, you want to make sure this information that is captured on people's desktops is available to the enterprise and across organizations such that they can interact with it inside Excel like we're working with today. You can work within a browser, you can work within a browser or a mobile environment. You can report all this information, use machine learning, and you can also integrate it with external systems, including blockchain, and support existing reporting environments. So let's take a look at the produce traceability template in its current form and show how it could be used and shared, or the Excel Cloud could be used in order to support a collaboration between multiple people working on inside this data. So you'll see all the tabs that were in the workbook are in here. I've already gone ahead and done something to these three, but I'm just going to show you this one. First thing you'll notice is there's a menu inside Excel now. So the users download one time an Excel add-in. It's been certified, it's been tested. It adds this menu strip to the user's desktop or to the user's Excel ribbon. They go through a process once of registration and logging in. So if I click on here and I say I want to register, you can see that it puts in the standard information, but you're also able to extend the data. So if you think about this across multiple companies or different functional groups, you can add other attribute data that would help you understand and bucket where people are in terms of their sharing of information between multiple people. But once they've been added to the system, then they log in, and this now establishes the connection out to the Excel Cloud. And if you want to share a worksheet, you simply click on Share Worksheet. This initiates the sharing process, and it works pretty much like the print area command, in that all the information that it finds to the extent of the data on this particular worksheet is grabbed and pushed out to the digital ledger technology running inside Excel Cloud without the user having to do anything. So that's literally the process, and it showed you how long it took to take this data and push it out, and it's about the same for each one of these tabs. You don't have to share all of them. For example, you could say, hey, I don't want to share this one, or if you have a pivot report or something else, everything inside of Excel works exactly as it does today. So now that I've shared the worksheet, I want to initiate an initial sharing session with other people. So in order to do this, you email them the workbook. Now this is something you only do once. And what we're doing is simply making it so that the formatting and everything else that's associated, for example, maybe the pivot reports that may not be managed as data in the cloud, are available for the user experience. So I'm going to say, please update this. And you can send it to as many people as you want. And this is an implicit data access model, meaning if you as the owner email it to these people, then you're basically inviting these people to be able to collaborate over this data. There's additional capabilities that is offered to scale this access, but in this Excel Cloud, it's meant to be fairly aligned with the way people share Excel files today. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out because I've now gone ahead and initiated this, and I'll go over to my email and I'll say, hey, let's look for that. So here's this email that was just sent. And it says, please update this. And then I come in and I open this up. Now what happens is, likewise, this user needs to install the Excel Cloud. And again, it's a one-time process. But now when I come in and I log in and register, I'm going to put in the credentials of this other person. So this is boardwalktech.com and do my login. And now what it does is, obviously this Excel file could have been floating around an email for a while. So the first thing it does is it synchronizes itself with the cloud. And it says, go make sure anything that's on the cloud that's not inside this workbook is updated at a cell level. So this is what happens when you first log in. It goes in and it looks across everything that it finds active in the cloud and says, hey, go get all that data and make it active in the cloud. Now at this point, the collaboration between multiple users is what we call submit and refresh. So if I come in and, for example, I change this and I want to make this be 500, and then I say hello. I mean, everything that you do, just like you do inside of Excel, you do as you normally would. And then when you're ready to share the changes with other people, you click on submit. And this is where you put a message in. And think about this like when you make changes to a workbook and then you attach it to an email and say, hey, here's my workbook. I've done this, I've done this. This is kind of what that is saying what's the message associated with these updates. And you'll see this in the history in a minute. But that's basically what you do in order to share changes with other users. And I want to do a couple of them just so you can see a couple. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say insert, and I'm going to say new row. Anything that you want to do, you're able to do. And again, if you want to, for example, just share these changes with the other users, then I can go ahead and say, okay, well, let's submit this. And I'll say more changes. And then this information is now pushed back out to the Excel cloud and available to other users. So I'm going to switch back now to where I started. So I'm going to close this guy out. And I'm going to go back to that file that we started with, which is the version 4 of the demo. And now if I come in and I say log in again, so obviously I'm switching back and forth between roles, so I have to switch this over. Now you may be thinking, hey, it'd be really nice if I didn't have to open up the Excel file to understand that something's changed. So let's take a look over here at some of these utilities. Well, first of all, you can see who you're sharing this workbook with. So if I click on show collaborators, it'll show me all the people that this has been sent to. And then you as the owner have the ability to go and say, hey, I want to turn this person on. I want to be able to turn this person back off. So you have complete control over that. You also have, and actually all users have this, the ability to notify updates. So in this case, I've set it up so it's only me that are seeing the updates. But each user has the ability to go in and say, hey, I want to see changes anytime they're made, or I just want to have it done at the end of the day. But if I now come in and say, hey, refresh my workbook, then unlike the other time when I was originally invited, this has been on my desktop. So what it does is it says, hey, well, go find what's changed at a cell level and bring those changes in and use the change comment inside of Excel to show me what the changes are. So you can see here, these are those two changes that I did. Here's the new row. And I've only done one change, but if I click on this activity log, I'm able to see, first of all, what's been happening to this workbook. So you can see that there's interactions that are happening with these multiple users. Then you're able to go into an individual cell and say, hey, show me the history of this cell, because this seems to have changed a lot of times. And in this case, there's only been one update. But if there had been a lot of changes because there's a lack of consensus on something, then people can continue to iterate within the context of all the rest of the data, but you can see the changes. And you can go in and say, hey, I want to see more than just the history of a particular cell. I want to be able to see all of the changes to the ledger. So here I'm saying, show me all the changes to the ledger, and then I can go in and I can select a particular transaction, for example, this one, and say, hey, show me the ledger as of this time. And you can say, show me all the rows or everything that's been changed or just specific things. And then it goes in and it grabs the data inside the ledger and it says, hey, show me what's changed as of that time. So you can see here that it grabbed that update where I did the change from 456 to 500 Main Drive. But what people really want to be able to do is to see information through a browser across all of the Excel data that's being shared. So that's what we'll show you next, is managing information across all the desktops but from a browser. So now we've jumped over to the Boardwalk Excel Cloud browser interface, where you're able to see across any number of workbooks being managed on individuals' desktops. And you can certainly look across all the different users to see what companies they're with, what department they are, when did they register. And it really depends on how you want to set up the Excel Cloud, whether you want to see everything or maybe just different departments or different projects. And then remember we showed you the departments where you can go in and specify, how do I want to put some metadata around how this information could be reported. But you have a lot of flexibility about how you want to describe where information should be bucketed. But then you can also look into the actual workbooks itself. So if I come in here and I say across Boardwalk Tech, how many different departments are active and how many cloud workbooks or how many workbooks are being shared in the Boardwalk Excel Cloud. And I can see there's 5 of them that are currently active. And in this case, there's 3 total users. And the last time any of them was updated was on the 8th of April. So if I drill down a little bit lower, I can go down and I can see, hey, here's this one that we just created, right? It was version 4. It says when it was created on, who's the owner, and then it tells you who the actual users are. So remember there's only 2, but let's say you had 20 different users in there. You'd be able to say who was active, and then you can say when was the last time it was updated and who actually did the last update. And you can move this information over time. You can say I want to be able to see this over any time period itself. And then you can even drill down to the lowest level and say, okay, inside that individual workbook, well, what's there? Well, here are the different worksheets, right? So here are the worksheets, and we've only done changes to this one. So you can say, when was it last updated by? What is the total number of columns? What are the total number of cells? And then how many formulas? We even track broken formulas. It's not shown here, but how many have inner file links, how many intra-file links, how many submits and refresh. So you're able to get a complete set of activity across this information. And as you saw in the presentation, you can even have the ability to say, hey, I want to be able to make it active so that somebody could just take a look at, for example, the information that's on this worksheet within a browser environment. All of these capabilities are available through the Boardwalk Excel Cloud.